I presume your request for G.I. Joe was filed correctly. General Flag. Form BX-257 Requisition Order MZ-19 in triplicate.
Oh, hello everyone. I'm Form BX-257, your friendly neighborhood 1980s G.I. Joe reviewer, and this is my annual channel update video, as well as my haul video. Now, as for channel news, there's actually not much to report. Everything's been going very well. YouTube has actually been working, says the falling man before he hits the ground. Anyway, I'll be a little more optimistic here and say that I'll have to actually ask you, the viewer, some questions. There's two things that I really want your opinion on, and I'll get to that later on in the video. But right now, there's actually something that I'm actually committed to doing, and I feel like I should really explain it to you guys first before just coming out with this series of videos. Because, as you might know, value is not really my bag, so to speak. I mean, I do have a lot of very rare, very old stuff which is very valuable, but I rarely talk about value because I don't really think that that's really not the focus of my particular way of collecting. Now, if you're, buying something because, it's really valuable, you want like an investment or something like that, that's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. It's just not the way that I collect, so I don't generally talk about it. But in the past, a couple of times I've been approached by certain people to do a sort of top 10, how valuable is this particular G.I. Joe toy. And last time I got a bit of a push because I felt that the people who were asking me were either going to do it themselves or going to be asking other people to do it who might have their own agenda as to how to skew values. And I felt that, I know this might sound a bit arrogant, but I felt that I was probably the better person to be doing this sort of video because, like I said, value isn't really that high of a concern to me. So I felt that I would be a bit more level-headed when it comes to actually portraying the information correctly to a general audience. And that's the other thing. I feel that these series of top 10, how valuable is it type of videos wouldn't really be, what my normal viewership would like, but, I don't really know ultimately. I just feel that I should probably make these for a more general audience. But I still, it's me. I still want to put as much cool information in there as possible in order to get people sort of interested in the hobby and not just in the monetary value. Anyway, I'll probably put up some mock images of the type of format that I want these videos to be done in. First, I'll be doing like loose figures, the top 10 most valuable loose figures, and then I'll probably, after that, do the top 10 most valuable file cards, because that's one thing that you don't often see on these top 10 lists, like the top 10 most valuable Star Wars figure. Sometimes they don't separate the value of card figures versus loose figures. And sometimes, like, I think the last series of Star Wars figures came with coins, which could be rare on their own. And when combined with a very, normal figure, the value just spikes. And that's the kind of the way it is with file cards. So I feel that I should be doing those two separately. And after that, I'll probably do, vehicles and whatnot after that. Anyway, on to my haul video, which for this year was actually quite large. As a matter of fact, as soon as I finish filming this, I'll be going off to another toy show to get some more stuff. First, let's take a look at my new additions to my Sky Patrol sub-team from 1990. Of course, Super Trooper here is a mail-away figure from 1988, and he's not part of the Sky Patrol series, obviously. But because he's all chrome, just like the vehicles, I think he actually goes very well with the set. I picked up Drop Zone, Airborne, Static Line, and Airwave, as well as the Sky Patrol Sky Havoc. Now, this is one of the things that I want to ask you as a viewer your opinion on. Now, all of the 6 figures and 4 vehicles don't really have a designated driver, so I'm wondering which videos to go with which ones. Now, I know the format of what I want to do. I want to do 4 videos. So there's basically 1 vehicle per video, but there will be either 1 figure or 2 figures per vehicle. So I want to know what your opinion is, which matchup you'd like to see. Basically, which Sky Patrol member would you like to see as a driver and co-driver of the vehicles? And this is how my Battle Force 2000 collection is coming along. I have completed all of the figures. So we have Blaster, the Eliminator Jeep, DJ, Maverick, the Sky Sweeper vehicle, and the Sky Sweeper's driver, Knockdown. Now, this is one of the things that I want to ask your opinion about, because it's the difference between me doing a lot of work for, well, basically nothing, or a little bit of work which you, the viewers, might appreciate a bit more. Because there are 7 vehicles in the line and 7, drivers. Now, obviously, I'll combine the specific driver with the vehicle, but I don't know whether I should do 1 review per vehicle or whether I should just do 1 long review. Now, I don't know if Battle Force 2000 is really popular enough in order to do 1 review per vehicle and driver, because as you know, I do this thing weekly, so that would actually take up close to 2 months worth of review space just for, something which you might not really want to see. It would also take up the spaces of another toy that you might want to see on the list. So I'm not really sure whether to do individual reviews or 1 long review. And now to take a look at my individual figure pickups for this year. We have the 1991 Sci-Fi version 2, the 1991 Hawk version 4, I think? 3? Version 3, I think. I can't remember offhand. Actually, these 2 figures I've actually had for quite a long time. As a matter of fact, you might have seen them in the background of some of my videos, but those were actually broken figures. These ones are actually complete and intact, and they're good enough to be reviewed. We have a 1991 Bat figure. I have the wrong missile there. And this is a figure which I never thought I would actually pick up. I was really not looking forward to it at first. This is the 1990 Captain Gridiron figure, which actually completes my 1990 series of basic figures. This is the really weird-looking Cobra Commander from 1991. Actually, you'll notice that Cobra Commander here and the Bat have something in common. That's the black stands. Normally, I put my figures on these custom clear stands, but these figures actually came with their own stands. So this, at least to me, I know some collectors don't really consider this, but I consider this to be part of the accessory count. So I like to have the original black stands for the figures that actually came with them. And finally, we have Darklon and his Evader motorcycle. Now, back when I was doing the Iron Grenadiers theme month, the second one, before that, I had asked you, the viewers, whether or not you wanted to see either the Razorback vehicle with its driver, the Destro's Dominator, or this, Darklon and his Evader. And while the Destro's Dominator didn't get any votes, it was actually very close between Darklon and the Razorback. So close, in fact, that it got me intrigued, and I thought, you know what, I already like the color scheme and the backstory of Darklon, so I might as well pick it up anyway. And I think that this will actually stand up on its own as an individual review. As you know, I don't pick up packaged vehicles or sealed on card figures anymore. I don't really see the point in that because, I'd have to buy a second one just to display along with it. But in this case, this was actually rather cheap because, the box is actually kind of destroyed here. It was cheap enough that it wasn't that much more than what a completed 1987 Cobra Pogo goes for anyway. So I was like, well, why don't I pick this up and have a separate video of me putting it together. So that's one thing I want to do. It'll probably be in kind of a vlog style with just me rambling on while I put this thing together. But a second video after that will be a proper review of the Cobra Pogo completed. I was also planning on doing that with this guy, but I don't think that I'll bother. This is 1987 Dreadnought Pirate Zanzibar, and this actually completes my Dreadnought, at least the vintage Dreadnought figures and vehicles. Again, I'm not really all that crazy with the Pirate, and it'll probably show in the review that I do, which is why I'm going to be doing this for April Fool's Day weekend. Now, I hope I don't really offend people that actually like this guy. It's never my intention to offend people, but sometimes I just have to have a little bit of, fun with these guys because, well, quite frankly, some of the designs are ridiculous, and I feel that I should call them out for that. Now, here's a couple of great outdoor G.I. Joe toys that I'm really itching to review. First off, we have the 1991 Air Commandos. This guy was called Skymate. Now, I'm not really sure if I'm going to be doing this review just by himself, or whether I should pick up the bad guy from this series and kind of review both of them at the same time. Anyway, this is a real flying glider, and because it's made out of plastic, I feel a bit more confident throwing this and actually seeing it fly, rather than the foam glider from 1983. Oh, good lord, that thing was falling apart in my hands while handling it. But of course, we also have the RC Crossfire from 1987 with its driver Rumbler. Again, I'm really looking forward to reviewing this. The electronics actually work very well. I was really surprised at how old this thing is, but how responsive this thing is for an RC toy. The wheels were an incredible pain to clean. Once you get like dust and dirt on them, they don't seem to really want to come out unless you actually bathe them in Armorall. But oh well, it was worth it. The thing looks great when it's finally cleaned up, and it'll be even greater when I run the thing across the asphalt. Now, last but not least, is my giant vehicle purchase for the year. This is the 1987 Mamba helicopter with its pilot Gyro Viper. Now, I'll be honest, for two reasons that this thing kind of surprised me. First, I didn't realize how big this thing was. Now, it has a lot of length because of this gigantic tail boom, but the actual, pilot and weapon section is actually quite large and chunky as well. I expected, helicopters, at least a Cobra helicopter, to be kind of lean and slim, but this thing really wasn't. The other thing which surprised me is, when I first saw this thing in toy shows and things like that, I was like, this purple plastic, there's something about the saturation of this particular color of purple, which really, at least to my eyes, and I know that is just me, because I'm weird, I couldn't, it just doesn't look anything other than plastic to me. Black, red, and all sorts of other things which really don't belong on military vehicles, I'm okay with, but the purple, I don't know, it just turned me off at first. But when I finally got this thing in my hand, I was like, you know what, all the other colors work very well with the purple. It has a really cool design. So, yeah, I actually got used to this ugly purple, and I can't wait to really explore, all the sort of different features on this thing in a review. Well, that's all the time I have right now. Please check out my Facebook page for more information and behind-the-scenes photos for these reviews. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for next time to see another 1980s G.I. Joe toy review. See you then.